Red flags. Understood. Part 1. Baby, you wanting some loving? Yeah. I'm gonna give you just what you need. Ooh, yeah. Just lie back and let me, Mr. Lover, take care of you. Ooh, you feel that? Feels good, doesn't it? I've just been sat here in the corner, licking my eyebrows, waiting for the moment I would take you to heaven. Ooh, baby. You want some more of that, don't you? Ooh, yeah. This is just exactly what you've been waiting for. Ooh, yeah. You ever had it so good? I'll say no. Just wait until I unleash my special move on you. Ooh. Tell me now, how does that feel? Yeah, you've never had it like this before, have you, baby? Ooh, no. Well, tongue-in-cheek as that might have been, according to our Mr. Lover man there, I think his tongue may well have wanted to be somewhere else. That ought to have caused a few red flags to flutter and alarm bells to have gone off for you if you were dealing with somebody like that. Red flags are very important. If you'd like to learn more about 50 red flags that are demonstrated while you're being seduced by somebody that may well point to the fact that you're actually involving yourself with a narcissist, then you can do no better than read my book of that name, Red Flag. It details for you 50 instances of behaviors which are narcissistic indicators. And as part of your continuing education, we're going to examine some further red flags today. It's important to emphasize that seeing a couple of red flags does not automatically mean that you're dealing with a narcissist. It simply means that that person is engaging in behavior which could be commensurate with that of a narcissist. Remember, certain behaviors can all be committed by varying different individuals, from narcissists, narcissistic people who are not narcissists, normals and empaths, but there are different drivers behind the behavior. Everybody has narcissistic traits. Everybody will have one or two narcissistic indicators because that's the nature of people's behavior. But what you're looking for is more than just a couple. You're looking for repeated, sustained instances of red flags. The example that I'm going to provide to you relates to a couple of voicemail messages that have been left by the stud, an individual who clearly has a high opinion of himself and his interactions with the ladies. This is but one manifestation of a potential narcissist. Now, it's important to emphasize that we don't have enough evidence to state conclusively that this person who makes the calls and leaves the voicemail messages is a narcissist. As you know, it is important to look at a range of behavior over a sustained period of time to make a determination. What we can say is that if this behavior is representative of how he regularly approaches women, then it's more than likely that he is a narcissist. But who knows? He might not be a narcissist that's trying a new technique. And although it's resplendent with narcissistic indicators, he may never have behaved like this ever again, which would then suggest that he's not a narcissist. However, I suspect that scenario to be unlikely, and I also suspect that this is regularly how he behaves towards women, and therefore, if that is correct, then it's more than likely that he is a narcissist. But based upon this information on its own, in isolation, we can't say that. What we can do is state there are a lot of red flags here, and therefore you really ought to turn in the opposite direction if you were the recipient of these voicemails. Not least because you may well think that it's particularly cheesy and nauseating, but there's actually potentially something far more dangerous lurking behind what's being said. The number of red flags is such that it is at a level that should cause anybody that would be a recipient of these calls to say no. Indeed, not even to state that to the individual, but simply to ensure that he can't get through to you ever again and that you have nothing more to do with him. Many people fail to recognise what's going on in this behaviour, that they're likely to be dealing with a potential narcissist and what that means. Instead, some people might think, I quite like his cockiness, he's a bit charming, I'm flattered that he's showing this level of interest in me, I'll get involved with him. And they're failing to pick up on the red flags that are resplendent. Other individuals might think, it's a bit much, but it's kind of funny, I'll give him a chance. The risk factor there, of course, is that in giving such an individual who's likely to be a narcissist a chance, if you're an empath, you're going to enter many arenas of interaction with this potential narcissist, with the result that your emotional thinking will soar, and then you proceed with emotional thinking, failing to take notice of even more red flags that will be fluttering in the breeze, and thus becoming emotionally invested in this relationship with all the consequences that follow thereon. Accordingly, it's hugely important for people to be educated and notice this for what it is. Many people will say, it's the stud, it's the player, it's Mr. Shagger Shagger. Those are all names which are applicable to certain types of narcissist. But ultimately, what you're looking at, or what you're listening to, is behaviours of someone who's likely to be a narcissist and is exhibiting lots of red flags. Even if it transpired this individual were not a narcissist, there are sufficient red flags to say don't get involved because you're going to find there are going to be problems for you in this relationship. But as I've said, I suspect this individual behaves like this on a regular basis, and therefore in all probability this is a narcissist that you're listening to, with all of the attendant issues that come with that. And thus, examples such as these are important for people to listen to. Seasoned viewers will think, I'd never get involved with somebody like this, but people do. There are people who get involved with romance fraudsters who end up parting with lots of money. Many people think, I'd never do that, but people do get caught out. There are many people who would say, I would never get with an abuser. No, nobody actively chooses to do so, but so many people do. And therefore, the red flags that are exhibited need to be aired and need to be identified so that plenty of people understand what it is that they are dealing with. That more and more people recognize that these behaviors are problematic and likely point to you being seduced by a narcissist, so that you spot it at an early stage before your emotional thinking surges, so that you take the appropriate steps to protect yourself by moving away from this individual, having nothing more to do with them, and imposing a no-contact regime. That you don't give the individual a chance, that you don't see where it leads, that you don't even explain to them that you've got concerns, that you completely cut it dead in the first instance. I know from the many, many people that watch my videos, read my blog articles, and that I consult with, the most common refrain I hear is, if only I had your information 5, 10, 15 years ago, HG. And that's part of the reason why this work is created. To warn people, as part of the extension of my legacy, to enable people to have access to this information. But it is also incumbent upon you as a valuable viewer to ensure that it ends up in the places where it needs to. You're watching this video because likely you've had an involvement with a narcissist and you're interested in learning more about it. For you, in a way, it was too late. Videos like this, of course, can help you stop getting ensnared a second time, or a third time, or a fourth time. But for others, they will not necessarily happen upon a video such as this prior to the commencement of their intimate partner relations. And therefore, it's you who can put these videos in front of younger men and women that you know in your life, family members, your children, your nephews, your nieces, children of friends, so that they become educated before it's too late. So what we're going to do is I'm now going to play you the footage so you can listen to the voicemails. You'll also find the way that he goes on quite amusing as well. So it's educating entertainment once again. But what I want you to do is listen and make a note of the various red flags that you detect in what he has to say. Get a pen and paper, list them, and then in the second video, I'm going to dissect them and tell you what those red flags are, and you can see how well you've done with regard to detecting them. So settle back. Here comes the voicemails.
Yeah, hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri. Sorry I had to leave such a rushed message with you when we met the other day. I just want to quickly give you my phone number, and I had to get the heck out of the area. In any event, I figure I better leave you a more detailed message and explain why I approached you. I am single. I have no trouble meeting women. I mean, women approach me 6-7 times a day. But I'm very particular about what I like. You're extremely elegant. I couldn't take my eyes off of you, and your friends were very jealous. Even if they say they weren't, they were envious of the fact that I approached you, and I was very taken by you. Elegant women are very rare. I'm Greek, and I'm very particular about what I like. So I'm giving you an opportunity here. I don't know if you pick up the messages on the weekend, but I'm working on a movie script, so I'm pretty much around all weekend doing that. I left you my number, 416-918-4. This looks like a landline, and if it is, you may not get the message till Monday. But when you do, call me, and then we'll get together for coffee and chat and let the romance begin. You look very taken aback by my approach, and I hope that isn't timidness. I hope it was just a little bit of shock at being approached so directly, because I don't really date timid women, because I'm a very direct, very passionate, very assertive man, and I want a woman who's very independent and strong. So anyway, we'll talk about that, but I just wanted to formally introduce myself. Now I have. I leave the ball in your court. You call me as soon as you have the courage to. Okay, Olga? Talk to you soon. Bye. Hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri calling again, the guy from the street. I left you a message several days ago. You said you were interested. Now, here's the way I work. I don't like leaving second messages, but I like you. You're a very elegant woman. You're very attractive. But, you know, I don't play that game. I know your friends tell you not to return calls. You're playing games like you see on stupid TV shows. So here's how it's going to work. It is now 4:30 on Wednesday. Now, I'll assume that you've already left work, because, you know, some people leave early, and I'll grant you that. But if I do not receive a phone call back from you by 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, I'm no longer interested, and you can erase my number. I don't play games like that. I'm completely single. I'm very intelligent. I'm great in bed. I make great money. Believe it or not, I'm a complete catch. I've only been single 4 months. I had a long-distance relationship. You know, went a year. It's very tough to maintain it like that, and it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong with me. Matter of fact, I'm one of the few men in the city that has nothing wrong with him. So I'm giving you that 3 o'clock deadline. If I don't hear from you, you lose my number. I'm erasing yours right now, so you won't be hearing back from me. So that's it. 3 o'clock tomorrow, or you can just completely forget it. Now, I understand if you've got other issues, like maybe you're not playing games, maybe you've had, I don't know, maybe you were abused in childhood, maybe your mother has cancer, you're going to chemo, maybe you're just a person who's extremely frightened or has an anxiety disorder, maybe you're on some medication for that. I don't know. There could be another issue that I'm not aware of. But nobody says, call me, hands a person a business card, and then doesn't return calls. It's extremely passive-aggressive. You should actually look that up, passive-aggressive personality disorder. And you let me know if you've got issues, psychological issues, if you're on any sort of medication for anxiety or depression, I'm not interested. Okay? But if you're psychologically normal and you haven't called me because there's been some horrible thing that's happened in your life which prevented you, that's fine. But otherwise, don't call me. Okay? Bye.